Errol Spence says that boy Terence Crawford really wants this win. What happens if he takes the L? What's good, everybody? It's your boy Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So Errol Spence, using a little Adrian Broner lingo, says that boy really wants that win. I wanted to break down what he means by that, give my 2 cents for anybody listening, and explain what happens in my mind if Terence Crawford takes the L.
It's going to be battle of the will and who can break who down. And I know that I can break him down. I know that he's not as durable as me. And my skill set is just going to overpower anything that he brings to the table.
All right, so what does he mean by that boy really wants that win? You know what? I think Terence Crawford needs a signature win. Now, he shouldn't be saying that at this stage of his career. He should have had, a million signature wins by now, even just at the welterweight division, at least 3 to 4. Really good signature wins. And I know a lot of people will say, well, the Sean Porter fight's a signature win. He fought this guy, or he beat Jeff Horn for a title. That's a signature win. The Jeff Horn fight, I'll give you that one. I'll bend on that one. The Jeff Horn fight, because it was a championship fight, even though he didn't cheat to get the victory, but there was some cheating involved for him to get that title.
I didn't write a book. I was booked on possession of an illegal substance. That's not the image I'd like to portray here tonight.
And Terence Crawford ended up with that title. So I'll give him one welterweight, victory that I think is a signature win on his resume because it was for a title. But besides Jeff Horn, I don't think he has any signature wins at welterweight. And he wasn't helping himself with the David Vanzian fight. That was obviously a money grab fight. But hey, to each his own. If you can go get it, man. You're a professional boxer. Your whole job is to make money off the sport.
Stop knocking on doors when you see they ain't answering and you know people in the building. That ain't your door.
Hey, it is what it is on that one. But what does he mean by Terence Crawford, that boy really wants this win? To me, I think it's a signature win. If he beats Errol Spence, it's going to be a huge signature win for Terence Bud Crawford, and it's going to be one for the history book.
Hey, what is you doing?
What the heck?
Huh?
What the? You out here look like Raz B from B2K.
Now, whoever wins this fight, I think is going to be in the history books, whether it's Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. But I think if Terence Crawford actually beats Errol Spence, oh boy, here's the thing about this fight. And it's kind of funny because, Errol Spence is really the favorite. The betting favorite is Terence Crawford, but I think the favorite to win the fight is still Errol Spence. It's just not who's betting on the fight. I think the majority of people don't really bet money on sporting events. But here's the thing about this fight. Even though Errol Spence is the favorite and Errol Spence is more popular and Errol Spence has the better resume and all this other good stuff, I think if Errol Spence loses to Terence Crawford, he's going to take more of a hit than Terence Crawford would if he loses to Errol Spence.
No, I got to cut you. That's the rule. Cut you.
I think that if Errol Spence goes down to Terence Crawford, it's going to hurt his career much more than it's going to hurt Terence Crawford if he loses to Errol Spence. If Terence Crawford loses to Errol Spence, it's like, hey, we kind of figured he was going to lose anyway, so, who cares at this point? So I think Terence Crawford will actually fight again, even if he loses, whether it's the rematch or he takes another fight because he got his butt whooped that bad. I think he will fight again just to have a retirement fight on a win. He'll go fight somebody he can beat him, and most likely retire after that.
Shut up! Dude. Let's get on.
if he loses really bad to Errol Spence in the first fight, I don't think he moves up to 154. I think he most likely takes the rematch, probably loses again, and Errol Spence will move on, and Terence Crawford take one more fight with somebody he can beat and most likely retire after that. Now, if Errol Spence loses to Terence Crawford, I think it's a whole different scenario and story. And I find it a little ironic and a little bit funny because, once again, he is more popular. He does, make more money. He does have the bigger fan base. He got the better resume. But I think if he loses, because he's been built up as this unbeatable force in his fan base's mind, like they feel like he can't lose. If he loses, I think his fans are going to be so crushed. We probably won't see Errol Spence for a while. I think he, takes the rematch, but I think the rematch will get pushed back a little bit, and we probably won't see it happen until somewhere around, New Year's or maybe next year, early part of next year. And I think Errol Spence will take some time off to rebuild himself and his fan base, because I think he takes the bigger hit off a loss.
Fee-fi. What is my telephone number?
I don't think Terence Crawford takes such a big hit if he loses to Errol Spence, just because, once again, he's not built up as the unbeatable force because of his resume, basically. At the end of the day, who needs this win more? I think Errol Spence needs to win more, because Terence Crawford, once again, if he loses, I don't think it's going to bother anybody that much. But I think if Errol Spence loses, his fan base is really going to take a hit. I think his fan base's pride is really going to take a hit, as well as himself. But his fan base is so built up on this unmovable force that Errol Spence is. I think that they're really going to have a hard time dealing with the fact that Terence Crawford beat him.
Trying to rehabilitate a bunch of scumbags? You can't change people.
I think Terence Crawford fans are going to be like, hey, we're going to suck it up, and live to fight another day. We have the rematch clause. We lost. Hey, it is what it is. But we still get another shot at this.
Come on, give me another chance. People change.
I don't think their pride's going to be hurt as much. They have built Terence Crawford up as well as like this unmovable, unstoppable force. But because Errol Spence's fan base is so much bigger, it's like the shock wave of when you hear it from so many people is just so much bigger. So imagine the shock wave, what the shock wave is going to be if Errol Spence actually loses this fight. It's going to be humongous.
I gave up a lot of stuff, but my main objective was to make the fight happen by any means, even though, my people wanted to, after a while, they wanted to walk away from the fight, out of just all that, outrageous demands. And then when you meet his demands, then he moves the goalpost. So, I feel like it was definitely me that got this fight. Even ring walk, we gotta flip a coin to see who's gonna walk last. So it was just stuff like that. Even though I'm on the A side, I gotta flip a coin.
That's gonna be a sigh heard around the world. So, shouts out to both guys. I do think that Errol Spence actually needs this fight and this victory more than Terence Crawford does. And I think that Errol Spence stands to lose more if he takes the L.
15 with the triple beam, working the streets. The little soldier got a pride, now he bumping the beats. It's all good. Pass by, making it known. Hot boy, I see you with the chip phone. They talking to the young. Used to be afraid to shoot this. Getting paid, I like it. When I was his age, I had the same kind of ways. And the rest of get paid to keep a fresh pair of J's on every feet. And it was something to ball. Go to school, telling rules. I ain't messing with y'all. I'm headed to the grind with a pocket full of dimes. I hope you got that ass.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. That like button for me. Sure. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. That's Facebook, that Instagram, that YouTube, that Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tubes, or holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product or your channel on my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail, because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com. and we are.
It's about bread, fuck what you talking about. If you ain't talking about that bread, then I'm walking out. Sorta like DJ Unk, I get my bud online, call it eBay funk. Nigga, better prepare to lean. Young Keys, that nigga spitting kerosene since I was an early teen. Now I'm in my mid-20s like a cold day. Niggas in the hood say I did it like OJ. Okay, you think Keys ain't got a grip? You on pain like you walking around without a hip. This is for my niggas zooming up and down the strip. Wood will grip like a pirate ship. You don't want nothing with it. Mine on the digits. If you hating, you can get it.
Got the keys to the city.
You don't want nothing with it. Mine on the digits. If you hating, you can get it.
Got the keys to the city.
You don't want nothing with it. Mine on the digits. If you hating, you can get it.
Got the keys to the city.
You don't want nothing with it. Mine on the digits. If you hating, you can get it.
Got the keys to the city.
You niggas better get more cream. You niggas broke like the levees down in New Orleans. And it ain't no fixing it. Engineer mixing it. Had to wear a coat cause it's cold like Switzerland. Got the hood blistering. All the niggas listening. Throwback Weber. Shorty thought I played for Michigan. Nah, it's the bill, dude. Still, here's what she'll do. Let a nigga cut long as I bring a pill through. And you don't want nothing with it. Gone off control, Grey Goose got me shitty. I go hard for the digits, got the keys to the city. I'ma show you how to get it. You don't want nothing with it. Mine on the digits. If you hating, you can get it.
Got the keys to the city.
You don't want nothing with it. Mine on the digits. If you hating, you can get it.
Got the keys to the city.
You don't want nothing with it. Mine on the digits. If you hating, you can get it.
Got the keys to the city.
You don't want nothing with it. Mine on the digits. If you hating, you can get it.
Got the keys to the city.
I got the remedy, plenty weed in the sea. A little skinny freak, legs like a centipede. Y'all niggas got DL tendencies. Young Keys, flow 10 degrees. Hit the industry in the teeth, never scared if it's beat. Ask niggas if they know my name in the streets. These young niggas got it hot like Venice Beach. Shit is deep, seeing narcs riding in the Jeep. I'm on the grind, I ain't been home in the week. Listen when I speak, leave stab wounds in the beat. Riding in the fleet, stuffing hydro in the sweet. It's Louis Keys, nigga.